What's up, guys? You're welcome back to my YouTube channel, Make Them Tech. Today, we want to look at something very interesting titled Server-Side Rendering in React without using any framework. We are not going to be using any of the SSR framework like Next.js, Gatsby, and so on. So we're going to still be using our Express framework. We're going to be using an EJS view template engine. And some other, we are going to use Babel node and then compression library. So, a couple of videos on React. I want you guys to watch some of those videos, like how to set up a React using Babel and Webpack. We have that of serving your React application with Express.js and so on. So today we basically want to look at how we can do SSR and then achieve our aim, just exactly what Next.js and Gatsby and co will do for you. So without wasting much of our time, let's get started. Okay. So let me just take us through webpack.config.js. At least you guys are familiar with this in React. The rules that we have, the loaders, Babel loaders, style loaders, the file loader and code. Then the Babel configuration to the same thing. So I think this is just basically what you need for your React application. So now let's begin to add what is needed to be added to achieve this SSR within. So the first thing we need to do is we need to install, let's install EJS, and then the compression library. So after this installation, we're going to install Babel node. So, and then we start creating our files. Sorry, I think it should be Babel. Yeah, this is it. Okay, so we are done. Let's create a folder called source. So inside this our source folder, we are going to create two folders, client, and then I'm going to create server. No. Okay, so we want to start with client. Now, what we want to do basically is this. Now, instead of rendering to DOM, we are going to be extracting. That is in the name of hydration. We are going to be hydrating the content. Instead of rendering it to the DOM, we are going to hydrate and collect it on the server and then render it back to the client. So that is just the idea. So and that is why we are going to be putting in one or two things. We are going to be doing some things on the client side and also on the server side. So here now I'm going to create another folder inside client called pages. So then after that, I'm also going to create two files, as we all know, our normal app.js and then also that of index.js. So inside our pages, we are going to have, let's call it home.jsx. So we are going to have two components. So inside our app.js, let's write some things inside app.js. So we have our normal import React. So, okay, let's just say import React from React. Then we'll need to import our component home from pages is home. Then import about from pages / about. So normally we'll export our app.js. So our app components. Okay, so let's just write something like const app is equal to so let's leave it at this point. So now inside our index.js, we are going to do the normal thing. That's just we import our React normally. So then import React DOM from React DOM. And then we import the parent component, and which is app from our normal app.js. So, and this is where it gets interesting. You are used to render, right? This is what we normally do, right? So let's continue. We'll change it back anyway. So then we do our normal document dot get element by ID. Then we put our app, yes, or you use root, whatever you are using. So now we are not going to be rendering anything directly to the DOM from the client. So that job will be done by our server side application. So the server side is going to render it, but we need to collect this content, that is the content of our app on the server. And that is why instead of rendering, we are going to hydrate. So that's that. And then also you see that we are not using any index.html here. So we leave that to the server to implement. So and that is why we'll be using EJS. That is a view template engine. Okay, so we are okay. So now let's go to home. Let's just write a small application. So here we just do a normal class home. So you can use your hooks here. You can use whatever you want to use. So create react.component. So let me just use a class component here. Okay, let me just say I'm using states. So what should we just put? Okay, let's say we'll be doing something that has to do with title. Let's just say server side rendering in React. I think that is perfect. So we need to what next? What next? Okay, yes, our normal render. So we'll return our GSX. Okay, title, since these are title, so let's just do this dot state dot title. And what should that be? Okay, let's bring in the button. Okay, yeah, so the button will just be like, click me. So that we can change the content of that state, let's bring in a kind of function like this, an on-click event. So let's just have this dot undo click me. Okay, I think this is okay. So now let's use our arrow function here. So this will be this dot set state. Title will be, what should we call the title? Okay, let's change the title to, okay, so the default title is server side rendering in React. So we can just change it to okay, let me just say how to implement server side rendering in React without using any framework. Okay, so that's what we're going to have at the end of the day. Okay, so I think what we have here is okay. So now let's move to, okay, let's still leave about. Let's still leave about. Okay, let's just do something about. Let's do something about. But we're not going to do anything serious so that we don't waste much time. Okay, we don't need any this thing here. Okay, okay, let's just use a normal functional component here. So just bring our const. That is about. Okay, I just remember that we are here to export. That is export default home. So let's go back to that. Okay, so okay, we just say return. So we are normal return here. So let's do normal div. So what should we render to this server? Let's just say about SSR. I think that is cool. So then we do our normal export default out. So This is what we have in home. So when we go to our app.js, we are already bringing we are already bringing in home and about components into app.js, which is going to serve as our parent component. And then so here now we want to do something. Should I use the word strange? What we want to do here now is that we're going to be using the location, that is the URL path, to determine what should be shown, the component to be shown, the component to be displayed. So at least the component that will be rendered inside app.js. So what do we do now? So let's just use let's use hooks. Let's use hooks. So if you are using hooks, let's bring in our use states. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to have const. Let's just have page. We don't need any. We are not going to be setting the state, so we're going to just be using it directly. So we have our use state, and that is location dot path name. Okay, so that's what we're going to have. Then we have return. And just use this. So we're going to have so we have this page. Okay, so we have something like page. So when page, that is the state, is equal to this, then it should conditionally render home component. I think this is fine. Okay. So, and also, now let's put that of about. So when the page is equal to about, so now, so this is more like we are actually using our own router. We are actually doing our own routing at this point. So basically what we are doing is that we are using that location.path name to determine which component to be rendered. So when it is a root path, we want our home component to go for it. And if it is a part that has to do with about, that is /about, then we want about component to be rendered. So with that, we are good to go. Now let's go to our index.js. Okay, I think we are fine. So this is just basically what we need to do on the client side. Now let's go to the server side. Let me see what we've done. So let's go to the server side. So in the server side, we're going to be creating, let's start with the route folder. Then after that, we create another folder called views. Okay, so now we have views. So what else do we need to create again? And those are the two folders we need to create. So we can add our normal index.js. Okay, so on the server side. So now let's start with our index.js, which is our main server. We're going to use our import. So you can see that we are not doing, we are not using require here now because we are going to be using Babel node. So I think that makes our work easier. Import express from express. So what else do we need? Okay, so import paths from paths. Okay, so our compression folder, library rather, import compression from the normal compression library that we have installed already. So okay, so we have this for now. Okay, there's some other things like const app. we should run this on port, which port? Let's run it on port 5000. So let's set our view. So that is views. So the path leading to our view folder name. So then views. I think we are in order, right? Yeah. So app dot set. So the view engine now. You know, we have some couple of view engines in Node. We have the likes of Pog, Handlebars, and Co. So it will be necessary for us to set the exact view engine that we are going to be using in this project. So now let's go to our middleware setup. Let's set up our middleware. So the compression library helps to compress whatever we are sending from the server. So it's just like a kind of gzip. It's going to gzip whatever we are sending. You know, we are going to be iterating on the client side, and then we collect on the server side, and then we want it to be minified. We want it to be smaller, compressed it so that we throw it to the client and it will be faster. So we move on to the next one, which is our static folder. So we have a middleware called express.static, and that is path.join. Okay, so we are going to, okay, now what we're going to be doing is that, you know, we need to bundle our files. So if you look at, let me go to package.json. If you look at what we have here, yes, so, you know, we are going to be running this first so that it will create a build folder and then put in our two files, that is the vendor and the main JS file. So with that, we need to serve that folder, that build folder on the server so that our application can run. The idea is that we consider those files as static assets and then we need to run it. So now let's try and implement the path leading to that. Okay, yeah. So we need to, okay, before I move into this, okay, so our application is to listen. So we go to our route. So inside our route, we are going to create the route file that is home.js and then also about.js. So let's also do that of view. So for view 2, we're going to create our home.ejs. And then about.ejs. So now let's just okay. Let's take care of. Should I be okay? Let's first tackle this view. Yes, the about.js and the home.js. So the home.js, um, is like our normal HTML. You understand? Okay. Yeah, that's what we have then. The HTML, the normal UTF, abi? Is it UTF? It's okay. Title. So let's call this one home. For now, let me just leave that. Um, okay, we have to put edge. So our div now, then app. So this is where our React is going to be. So for the React, so we want to use EGS template here. So you want to, so when you want to write like a kind of JavaScript, so we have the likes of percentage, you can have the one of equal to, we have the one for dash, like the one we want to use here. So we can call it React app. So then our files, that is our two files, we can put the path here, main.js, and this one is vendor.js. So I think this is cool. Okay, so let me do same for about.egs. So this is going to be about. Okay, so that let me pause here and explain some things. See, some of us might not actually understand the importance of SSR. Now, one of the importance of SSR is this. Sometimes when you build your React application and you host it and it's live on production, you normally face the issue of SEO. So, for every page or for every component you have in your React application, it has always been rendering into one single index.html file. And that index.html file carries the same title, the same meta tags, and just what you have there. So, and sometimes it's very difficult for Googlebot to easily track each of your component that you are rendering into that file. So because of that, your SEO is somehow very low, especially when users are searching on Google to get one or two things. So that is why SSR is actually very important for React. React is a client-side thing. So React is just to help you render your component to the DOM, and then that's all. So the issue of SSR, you may have to go extra miles by bringing in frameworks like Next or Gatsby or others. Or better still, you use this approach that we are using, which is also very, very easy. So with this approach of EGS now, you have the opportunity to maneuver your meta tags, your anything you want to do. And it's just going to be very, very easy. So that is just how it is. Then the second importance of SSR is, for example, let's say maybe you have a blog and you will be sharing that blog maybe on WhatsApp, on Twitter and co. So there is something called thumbnail, a kind of preview. So when you share that link, there is something that your user or whoever that is seeing that link can sight at a glance, at least then get to know what that link is all about and click it. So if you are using the normal React and you share the link, you see that that link is just carrying only one description, only one thumbnail, all through. Nothing is changing. So that is why you might need to use SSR to manipulate that place. So when the component you are rendering or the link you are rendering has to do with something like maybe food. So it's just food that will be displayed. as the thumbnail, and that is from your description in your meta tag. If it has to do with animal, that's also what's going to be displayed. So you have the effrontery and volition to manipulate your meta tag with this approach, or you use the normal next or what have you. So what I'm going to do here to demonstrate that is I'm just going to put this description meta tag. That's meta, then it's name, description, then we have content. So what's the content? Let's just say about SSL. Okay, so should we use that? Okay, let's just use that. So, and then mind you, for home, we don't have that. We don't have any description for home. So when we get to that of about us, I will want us to see how this is rendered in the DOM so that we get to understand what we're talking about. So I think basically this is just how it is. So we have successfully, at least we've done the EJS part. Let's go to about.js, the routes now. Let's start with home.js. So here now we going to do the normal thing. Our normal import express from express. Then import react from react. Then we're going to import. So here now we are going to, there's a particular, what should I call it? Yes, method called render to string that we are going to be using. I will talk more about it later. So we have React DOM, then /server. Okay. So here now this is home.js, so we import the home component directly from the client side. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, so that's what React, Express, and Co has given to us. So that's yes, client, then pages. That's cool. Yes. So const router express.router. Okay. So router.get. So now when a GET request that has to do with a root path comes in, this is what should happen from the server. So our const react components, let's just call it react comp, is equal to now render to string. So we render this guy to string. Okay, let me just pause a little here. So now you see this rendering to, sorry, it's even render to string, not rendering to string, sorry. Render to string, not rendering to string. So now you see this method called render to string. So it's actually a method that is part of the React DOM library, and it's for the server. So on your server side, that is on your root, inside your root folder, the component is going to be imported from the client, that is home, and then we have to render that component to string. So it's just like when you use your file module to read the content of a file. You know that when you read the content of that file, you are going to be having it in form of a string, and then you can manipulate it as a string. You get? So that is just how it is. So for render to string is, we have iterated on the server, which has made it possible for us to collect it on the, sorry, we have iterated on the client, and that has given us the opportunity of collecting it on the server. So with that, we can now render to string, and then it will be easier for us to render it back to the client. So let's do that. Let's use our normal res.render, just as if you are rendering your EJS view, exactly. So the React comp yes, that we have here. Yes, so it will not be, sorry, the React app that we have already. So for those of us that are familiar with EJS, you know that when you want to render a particular view, let's say the home view, so you have the first argument for render is going to be the name of that view, that is home.egs. You don't need to put .egs, just put home. Then you are going to be passing data alongside. So the data is going to be in form of an object. So this React app is a variable that is inside home, which is this. So whatever variable that you have in your list, if you have more than 2, 3 variables, you have to pass data into each of them, and then you come back to, and then you assign something to them. So this React component, this React comp is actually going to be holding the string format of home component, that is home.js, JSX rather. So with that, we can have the content of home inside our EGS directly. So I believe this simply explains what this code is doing here. So let's export by default so that we can grab it and use as a middleware on the inside our index.js. So let me go to, okay, let's do that of, let me go back to home. So I want to believe there is no error. So instead of home here now, it will be about. And here is going to be about. What else are we're gonna change? Okay. So this is going to be about. What else? So I think this is fine. Okay, yes, this is going to be about. So our about EGS. So we are still passing the same thing. So we have React app inside EGS. We have React components too. Now we're passing as data into this variable that is already existing in our EGS. So I think with this we are fine. I don't think there's any error. So now let's go to our index.js and then we import it. Import home from, okay, routes, yes. Home. So import routes. So this is cool. Okay, so we come here now and then we bring it in normally. So the path still remains the root path for home. Then we use this. And then for our about, we have about. So I think we are almost done, or we are done. So let's just take a look at what has been done so far so that we can check it out for any error. If there's any error, we can quickly remove it so that once we run it, it will work at once. Okay, so I think this is fine. This is okay. Let's go to our home.egs. Yes, I think this is fine also. This about.egs, this is also fine. Let's go to our route as home.js. I think what we are doing here is the right thing. Then about.js, I think this is a clean work. Okay, so let's go to the client side again also. Let's start from the index.js. Now we are iterating at this point instead of rendering. Then the parent component is helping us to determine what to be rendered. So whatever that is coming from the location, the address bar, is when it gets to the client side, the server will determine what to do. You know, we're actually making a GET request. So that's it. Okay, I think this is okay. So let's go to our home. Yeah, so what we are doing here is just clicking a button to change the title of this so that we know that even with this SSR, we can still manipulate state, you can still do anything you want to do. Your normal React application works fine. There is no any itch. The only issue you might run into is the issue of images, which you can always navigate over. That's using the normal URL for your image, and then you copy the image into the build file. think that solves it. So let's test our application and then let's see what we have. Okay, now, sorry, let's go to our package.json. We have to, which one should we attack now? Okay, let's attack our npm stats. Okay, so we are going to start with our npm run build. Okay, so let me run build here. So then that is and so it will be Babel node to server / index. So npm run build, then node the Babel node src, that is source server index. Okay, so I think this is fine. I think everything is clean. Okay, so let's run our application now. Let's just say npm starts. So our build folder has just been created. That is inside the client. Yes, build. Server running on port 5000. Now let's go check it out. Localhost 5000. Boom. So now you can just imagine what has just happened. Now our application has successfully rendered. So let's click on click me. Let's see if it's going to change. Whoa. How to implement server-side rendering in React without using any framework. So you can see that it works. So let's try the next one. Okay, now let's check something out. Index. Let me inspect. Okay, so see this now. Can you see that this is what we have in the DOM, the title. Now let's click body. You can see this. Then you can see how the whole thing is being rendered. You can see it here. So you can see these two files. Then this guy. Okay, so now let's check out about now. About SSR. Now let's also see what is here now. Now you will see what, can you see that the description is there? Description about SSR. So this one now, let's say this is a link. If we share this link, now the link is going to have a thumbnail of this description content called about SSR. So that's just, so this is one of the advantages. And then for this now, if somebody is searching about the about feature of your application, the about page of your application, the Google bot can easily track it with this information that you've provided. So you can provide as many information as possible in your meta tag. Just lavish this meta tag, whatever information you have that you want to provide. So that's that. Now, can we just look at, in case you want to do, you want to import CSS. So let's do this method. Let's try and do something like that and see the reaction. Okay, so inside our clients, can we just do, so let's call it main.css. So let's say we have something like this. What should we, okay, let's style our button. Yeah, button. So let's call the background to be, what's the best color for the background safe? Let's use this, okay, the one we use, that is, okay, for it. Okay, so border radius 0.4 em. Okay, the border, let's do something like 1px solid, and then we use our 0.1. Okay, width, that's 1110px, or should we use 120, or okay, let me change it to 1. 20. I think 120 should be fine. Let's say padding. If you are using padding, that is a padding that is 10 px. Okay, so um, it's fine. So let's go to home and let's import it. No, sorry, inside our pages, home. Okay, so import. Um, there's an import. That's what's it called? Okay, yeah, that's that will be yeah. Yes, okay, main dot css. Okay, so now let's restart the application. Okay, now there is a cry out here now. So the problem is that because we are using Babel node to run the application, so it's complaining of this. So it's trying to read everything like JavaScript. So it's looking at it that what is this? You can't have this in JavaScript. Now, actually, this is actually a variable that should be followed by an equal sign and then all those things. So we have to tell Babel no to ignore this guy. Just let it pass. We already know what we are doing. So that's we lead us to installing a particular what's it called plugin called Babel plugin and transform require ignore. So let's save it as a dependency. Dev dependency rather. So Babel plugin transform require no. So we need to install this guy. Okay, so I think there's a configuration that we need to put in our so okay so um, okay yeah so this is the configuration so we need this guy. So, like if you look at the instruction here, configure it in your Babel resource configuration. That's what we ignore the requirements when run test. Okay, so let me just do that first. Um, so we have it here. So we are doing it for, we don't have any of this, so we are doing it for CSS. So it's going to be .css. So we save it. And then there's an instruction there also. That is, we have to run this. So to run this, if you do this on a Windows OS system, you're going to have an error. So I better still just avoid struggling with Windows this evening. Then let me just install cross environment. So while that is going on, let me go to package.json and let's do the normal configuration. Okay, I think okay, so at this point, so here now we're going to have what we call Babel com environment is equal to node. So with this now, we should be able to boycott that problem. So I think, is there any other thing that we need to set up? I think this is basically all. Okay, so for now. So now let's try to restart our application. Okay. Okay, so this thing is still crying. Babel, it's not, oh, sorry. Okay, so I have to put cross environments here. Okay. So exactly the problem I want to escape. Wow, no more crying. So let's try out what we've just implemented now. Okay, so the normal distance still happens. So let's go to our root part. Can you see? So that's it. So that's how to kill it at that point. And if you have an image, if you import an image, you might actually run into a problem. So your best bet is to just do the normal thing. Just copy the image, put it in the folder, and then reference directly your React application. So, or basically, probably there might be also be another plugin or something else that can allow us to make Babel know to ignore that thing and just look away. So this is just how to implement SSR in React without using Next.js, Gatsby, and co. So congratulations if you have been able to watch this video from the beginning to this point. I want to congratulate you that at least you have been able to gain some beautiful skills in React application, some beautiful skills in how to maneuver React application. So I want you guys to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Make Them Tech, so that we can grow this channel together. And also, I want you to turn on the notification bell so that when a new video is dropped, you can get notified. So thank you guys. I will see you in my next video.